I'm new to TCGs.
How do I build a deck?
How do I get started at my local game shop?
Should I buy packs, buy singles?
Where do I even buy my cards?
If you are new to Lorcana or TCGs, you've come to the right place.
We are here to help, along with some amazing Lorcana guests.
With most games, you sit down to play, open up the box, and it has everything you need.
But trading card games are a little bit different.
There is a game before the game, and this game involves collecting cards and crafting a deck that fits your playstyle so you're prepared to play with family and friends. So you want to know how to play this game before the game.
For me, it can be really intimidating, so where do I start?
For that, we'll go to Dan.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Dan. I am with Hobbies and Happiness, and we are all about the hobby that makes us happy, and for us, it's mostly card games. When you're getting into a new TCG, kind of like Lorcana, let's take Lorcana as a perfect example. A lot of them have starter decks. That is your biggest point of entry for any of these trading card games, and that is a starter deck. If you see a starter deck that's available for purchase, get one. Now, these starter decks, they typically have a lot of different variants, decks with different play styles, so you can always pick up one of each if possible. And what that kind of does is that gives you a sense of how the decks play, how the game plays, because then you get senses for how the decks play. Then you get a better sense of if you're gonna like this game.
I really love the idea of starter decks, and when Lorcana launches, they're going to release 3, each with 2 ink colors. So if you buy all 3 decks, you'll get to experience all 6 ink colors and really figure out which one you like to play with the best. All decks should be equally balanced, so you can sit down with your friends and family and learn how to play on an equal playing field.
As a bonus, each starter deck comes with a booster pack, so you can practice working a new card or two into your base starter deck when you're ready. So let's say you've tried the starter decks and you're ready to venture into the unknown, into the world of deck building, to create something new, something of your own. We've heard from many of you that this can be intimidating.
I keep hearing people talk about deck building. It seems really intimidating because it feels like there's unlimited possibilities. How do I build a deck, and why is it so important?
I totally hear you, Adara, and I feel the same way. Luckily, we have TCG veterans who are willing and excited to help us craft custom decks. I have Liam on a day-to-day basis and definitely ask him for help all the time. But I think B Squared does a really great job of breaking down deck building into 3 simple steps that we can consider. But before we get there, if you're a Lorcana fan, please consider liking and subscribing.
So you got your hands on some booster packs and opened some Lorcana cards. You want to play, but now what? How do you build a deck out of cards you just acquired? First, we'll quickly go over the deck building rules for Lorcana. Your deck must contain at least 60 cards and is limited to a combination of 2 inks out of the 6 inks available. Also, you can only have up to 4 of any unique card in your deck at a time. There's a few key things I'd recommend keeping in mind when trying to build a deck, which I highly suggest you further research on your own because there's plenty of content out there explaining all of this in detail. When building a deck, there needs to be a win condition. Maybe that's a big combo that wins you the game, or a generic game plan like board control or aggressive questing. Every deck needs a win condition, and almost every card in your deck needs to support that win condition in some way. Next, pay attention to your mana curve, or in Lorcana, I guess it would be your ink curve. This curve looks different for every type of deck and is a general rule of thumb. The key part is making sure your deck is consistent. Do you have enough 1-drops to consistently have a turn 1 play? Do you have enough late game characters so that you don't run out of steam too early? Consistency is key when it comes to executing your game plan. Lastly, test, test, test. This is where the real fun begins. When playing games with your new deck, make sure to pay attention to cards you aren't using very often and which cards you wish you had. Slot out the cards you never use and toss in the cards you find yourself needing. Unsure if one card is better than another? Playtest games with both. Experiment by making small changes over many games until you're happy with your deck's performance. And there you have it. Those are the boiled down things I'd pay attention to when trying to build a deck. What's the win con? How's your ink curve? And where can your deck improve after testing? There are many more things that can be considered when deck building, and again, I highly recommend looking up these topics in detail if you want to really get good at it, because there's so much to learn, but this should get you on your way to crafting your very own decks and knowing what to look for if they need a little tweaking.
So we think this is great advice, but if you still find this too intimidating or you want to save some time, there are people going through this process constantly and they're willing to share their deck builds with you.
Going online to find a deck that someone else has built is called net decking. You could find a content creator that you admire and see what deck they're playing with, or you could visit lorcania.com where they will have a list of decks that have all been pre-tested.
And once you build a deck that you're testing, have somebody else test it out as well. Aaron and I are always swapping decks back and forth to see what works and what doesn't work, and we provide advice to each other and feedback, because somebody else may see something that you've missed. So find a friend, swap decks, and see what you see.
So now you have another problem. You have a list of cards that you need to build a deck, or maybe a list of some cards that you want to work into your starter deck. But how do you get these cards? This is a question that we heard a lot.
Hey, I'm Brandon from Brimley Games, and as you can see, I'm a huge board game fanatic. With Lorcana coming out, I'm new to TCGs, so I wanted to check if I'm trying to get the full set to play with, should I buy packs, buy singles, trade cards, or all of the above? Thank you so much.
We're back to Dan for the answer.
One of the things that I tell most everyone who is new into a TCG is buy singles. Maybe you find a deck that you really want to play. You found your favorite content creator and they've got a couple deck profiles and one of those decks you really want to try. Well, in that case, buy the singles. Don't buy packs, don't buy boxes, try and open up the packs to find those cards. Just buy singles. Buy singles, buy singles, buy singles.
The reason most TCG experts recommend buying singles is because, well, it's the cheapest way to get what you need. Packs and boxes are super fun to open, but open them for the experience. When you're looking for cards, just buy the singles.
So that begs the following question.
Hey Lumineers, Scott here. I've actually been going around a few of my LGSs locally, and 2 of them are not even going to carry Lorcana, so I'm preparing as a backup to maybe have to do online. Question for you guys is, what do you think is the best option for purchasing cards online?
Great question, Scott. Let's see what our friends at Ready Set Draw say.
Hey Scott, this is Jacob from Ready Set Draw. Our team's preferred way to buy cards online is to use TCGplayer.com. Not only do they already support Lorcana on their website, they also allow local game stores or individuals around the country or world to make accounts on their website so they can sell cards using their platform. So it's still a way for you to support businesses that you like in particular if you can find them on the site. It's our preferred way. There may be some others, but I hope this helps. Good luck.
TCG Player is an excellent resource. In addition to what Jacob mentioned, the website shows you recent sales data, so you know what other people are paying for the products that you need. And Scott, in case you're looking for sealed product as well as singles and your LGS isn't carrying them, you can get sealed product on TCG Player as well. So these are some of the biggest questions that we heard from new Lorcana players, and with the help of the Lorcana community, I hope we answered them.
If you have other questions or maybe advice for new players, drop us a comment below.
And make sure to check out the other content creators featured in this video. They're all wonderful.
The Lorcana community is absolutely amazing, and we're so excited to grow this game together.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is a lot of fun, and you know what? Hope to see you guys soon. All right, take care, everybody.